Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host Matt Marrero along with your other host,
Anthony Sinandris.
And what are we doing today, Anthony?
We are doing Ghost Rider, Spirit of Nicolas Cage's Vengeance.
Oh man, I haven't had you on a lot and I realize now I fucking can't let you do that. Alright, so we're talking about is Ghost Rider 2 Spirit of Vengeance, where, or as it's called in Europe, Ghost Rider Spirit of Nicolas Cage's Vengeance. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, you know, a lot of our fans U.S.-based, I think some of the European fans could, you know, help corroborate that. Yeah, in Europe that's what it's called. But, so I think we both have, like, dirty little confessions about this movie. We don't hate this movie.
We definitely don't.
At least as much as we did the first one. And it's kind of scary. Like, I'm frightened. I'm wondering if the first movie kind of, like, I was sitting there watching this movie, and whenever I thought, oh, that was a funny scene, and I wanted to laugh, I went, no, that's the Ghost Rider talking. Matt, fight it. Fight it. This is a frightening movie in the sense that it wasn't, I don't know if I want to say it wasn't bad, because maybe it was bad, but I watched this right after watching the first Ghost Rider. And this was not as bad as the first Ghost Rider.
I think it's literally just because we know what the first one was. So we went into this
one
thinking...
That might be it.
Yeah, we're like, so that's what we saw in the first one. What is this one going to do? Holy shit, this one was better.
I'll say this much, and I think everyone can agree with this. This was not a good Ghost Rider movie. This was a good action-adventure movie.
Absolutely.
That happened to feature Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Because another thing, too, by the way, we talk about Nicolas Cage's acting in the first movie, right? And how we didn't really enjoy... some things were funny, but they weren't really meant to be funny. Some things were serious, and they might not have been meant to be serious. But what we can say is we weren't a big fan of how much they focused on him. It's as if they understood that and said, we have to give him a supporting cast. And you fucking give him Idris Elba.
Yeah.
The second I saw Idris Elba, I thought, but how can this movie be terrible?
Pretty much, yeah. I really... Because, like, I think even with, like, when the first trailer came out and they showed him for a split second, I was like, holy shit, Idris Elba's in this movie? I was like, that's going to be a game changer for me.
Yeah, no, and again, I'm not saying this was a great Ghost Rider movie. I do think I actually liked the spirit of the first movie, which I don't think I mentioned in the podcast for the first one that we talked about. I do like the whole Western feel. I do.
Yeah.
However, I also enjoy this feel a lot because what's even more interesting is you can tell, and I'm not saying, you know, yes, we make movies sometimes, little stuff, nothing major, right? Like, we're just like a little tiny group, you know, friends just doing stuff. But, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, I have my film degree over here to tell you that. Well, I think anyone can notice there was definitely a change in directors, and there were.
Oh, yeah.
Between the first movie and the second movie. Because I watched the second movie, and in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I think I already like this movie so far. What's going on?
We basically went from the director of the original Daredevil to the directors of Crank. So...
That's so interesting because when I look at the first movie, yeah, I can see director of original Daredevil, which certain things in Daredevil weren't bad, actually, in the original. Certain things.
Yeah.
Certain. Keyword certain. Some of the scripting, I think, was done well, but certain, again.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch it, of course. We're going to do a podcast on it, but again, certain. And this is, again, original Daredevil, not referring to the Netflix TV show. We're talking about the movie with Affleck. So, yeah. And Colin Farrell as a nice bullseye, honestly. I liked him as bullseye.
Yeah.
But anyway.
We'll get into that later.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're not talking about it right now. But anyway. So, I understand not everyone did, but at the time I did. So, anyway. Talking about, you know, Ghost Rider 2, yeah, it's just, I thought, you know, you can tell that there's a difference in, you know, directors, obviously, because one goes from a bit more Western, a bit slower paced, to just, we're doing an action movie with all of those action camera angles that all of you action movie watching goers know about. Action. And then again, understandably, the idea that, you know, oh, Nicolas Cage, well, we already developed this character, even though this is technically a weird reboot kind of thing. If anyone didn't realize that when watching, or if you haven't watched it yet. First off, I mean, if you're okay with spoilers, cool, listen to our podcast. If not, go away. Just spoilers, spoiler alert, he's a Ghost Rider. Anyway, so, yeah, this movie was kind of a reboot sequel, because what they did was, right, they had to continue the story of Johnny Blaze, but they do this rehash a bit like how Evil Dead 2 did, but the only difference is that, at least from what I remember, Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2 is really only done because of licensing disputes. It's essentially the same movie. Everything's pretty much the same. But with this movie, there were minute differences that you may not have picked up on at first, but then you realize it as you went on, where you're like, wait a minute, there was no Roxanne in that. Roxanne doesn't exist. Literally, like, you're sipping your tea, you're like, there was no mention of Roxanne. She apparently doesn't fucking exist now. Right, yeah. Like, if she was not mentioned, she did not exist. Because they do a rehash in the beginning with some nice Ghost Rider-esque animation, by the way. I would like that for a real Ghost Rider movie. Like, a real animated Ghost Rider movie. I know, right? I would like a real movie. I wouldn't like these pieces of trash. Like, no, actually, an animated film. I would definitely enjoy it in that style. But yeah, no, they knew. Give Nicolas Cage supporting actors. He kind of needs those. Bad. Yeah. Don't let him go on crazy long monologues. And if he is, it's because the character is, it's like a Ghost Rider's like a drug, and he needs his fix. So he starts going, talking as if he's a junkie. But if Nicolas Cage is not pretending to be a junkie, don't let him speak. It felt like didn't that feel like the theme of the movie?
Oh, absolutely.
But I think it definitely helps.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, to just bring up this one scene real quick, where I kind of felt that really took effect, is there was this one scene, I think it was like right in the middle after Johnny and Nadia, I think that was her name, escape from the hospital or whatever, and they catch up with Danny, where they're just in like this little diner, and Danny sees his father like brush his kid's hair off, and Nicolas Cage does it to him. He goes, "I thought there was a bee on your face, and it was going to sting you." I was like, what?
Oh my God. But yeah, so I'm sorry. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, it was horrible overall," and look, I'm sorry. I don't care what you have to say. I'll listen to you because, some of you are fans, and I love all of our fans. But I'm sorry, all right? This, in my opinion, the movie started off great, as I mentioned earlier, and maybe it's because I'm a Kamen Rider fan, but the way this was filmed, and all of, like, the motorcycle riding, shenanigans, I don't know. Again, I understand, eventually it stopped. Even in the beginning, it wasn't technically Ghost Rider enough, I would argue. But it just felt like the pace of the movie was just so fast, and I enjoyed that because the last one felt like molasses a little bit. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, felt like molasses. So I liked it. They were just like, you know what? We're going to start this off with just this. Hey, it's like, oh, we're at church, and oh my God, we're getting invaded. I was like, wait, what? What are we doing? What's going on? What here? Oh crap! Though I would have been happier. And I know it's interesting. I would have been happier with Idris Elba as a Ghost Rider. I don't know about as Johnny Blaze because I don't mean to I feel strange talking about this on air. Usually when it comes to characters being played by characters of different races ethnically compared to what they were played as in the comics, usually I'm pro comic only because it's just like a whole it relates to the source material more. So in other words, I would prefer, let's say, a white Spider-Man, a white Peter Parker. But that does not mean we always need to have a white Spider-Man because we have Miles Morales.
Exactly.
However, if someone told me, Donald Glover, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, would play Peter Parker, I'd have no problems with that. Right? Because of he can definitely bring comedy to that role that needs to be there. So I'm not saying I'd have a problem with it, like I'd pick it or I wouldn't go see the movie. But if you would ask me, what is your first choice? Oh, whatever relates to the source material more. Exactly. However, can Idris Elba play either a Ghost Rider in this movie? Fucking yes, he should have been. Also, can he play James Bond? Yeah, actually. Even though I still say the source material thing, I can really see him as James Bond. Like, I think anyone who's just like, Yeah, like anyone saying like, no, he can't be because he's black. Like, well, I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying I would prefer something closer because to me, the way I look at superhero movies, and this isn't a tangent because we're talking about a superhero movie. You should make in the comics a black Ghost Rider, or make a black Ghost Rider in the movie and then have him adapted in a la Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do something like, rather than saying like, oh, Johnny Blaze should be black.
Yeah.
But again, if you told me Johnny Blaze is going to be black, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I guess I can't watch the movie now. No.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that when it was Nicolas Cage, the whitest man you know. Right? I was saying, oh, it's like Nicolas Cage in this movie? I guess I can't watch it now. It had nothing to do with white or black. It was just Nicolas Cage. Because I've really never seen this movie until today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Ghost Rider, I've seen it in the past. I've seen bits and pieces. I think I finally got to connect them all together. Because I think I finished the first Ghost Rider in probably about 6 sittings, all with different people in different places, from DVD to TV.
Oh, God.
I don't think I ever actually saw the whole thing in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This movie never touched it at all. Why? Because of Cage. Just stay away from the Cage unless you want the beast. It was like, yeah, pretty much. I was like, I'm going to back away from this movie. But after watching it, I thought, wow, really, I judged the Cage by its cover. Why did I do that? It's horrible. This was a pretty good movie.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that, what they cut out from the first movie in terms of that recap, it removes everything the first movie was setting up. Now, I know some would say, well, yes, it's a reboot. Yeah, but it doesn't make you want to, okay, it makes it because, okay, when you reboot something with the same cast, somewhat, it's a bit of an issue. Because at least from 2003 to the new Hulk, right, the 2008 Hulk, it was a different cast. And, that's how that worked, right? Even if you're going to say, even though I disagree, oh, technically it was a reboot from 2008 Hulk to, Hulk being Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers, because some things are talked about a bit differently. Well, not so much, right? But even if you were to say that, still, it's Mark Ruffalo, it's not Norton, right? It's a very tough sell if you would have told me, we're rebooting the Spider-Man franchise, but we're still going to have Kirsten Dunst, Tobey Maguire. Like, it would have been a hard sell for me to be like, let's put them back in, even though we're not saying that Nicolas Cage is going back to high school or anything, but it's still a tough sell to reboot something when you have the same cast. Because even though it's like, oh, no, everything that happened was only in that recap, nothing happened before it. Yes, but you expected me to pay good money, to even more importantly, pay time to watch this movie. And then be told, yeah, no, none of that shit happened, don't worry. Do not worry. None of what you liked and or disliked, mostly disliked, what you liked or disliked happened. Don't worry. So it kind of feels, because we don't have any Roxanne. So you take away, his need for even wanting the powers in the first place, arguably. And yes, it would make sense. So if you take those away, that means he doesn't want the powers. But this is technically a sequel. And usually it's reversed. I was saying this last episode. Usually in the first movie you don't want the powers, and then the second one you've come to accept them and you will fight with them. Really, in the first movie he accepted them rather easily.
Yeah.
What does that say about Johnny Blaze? Again, I can become a Hellfire demon? Sweet! Right? And then in the second movie, maybe I don't want these powers. I don't want to be a Hell demon. Sweet. No, it's not. That was your last... That was a script from the other movie, Nick. Who gave him the script from the other movie? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't really... Like, I don't like that approach. And again, to some, this is technically, the first movie, quote-unquote. But it was rough. Like, it was rough to just have him go, I don't want these powers anymore. I want them removed. And it was like, yeah, this is... We went through an entire movie of just him being completely okay with the powers.
Yeah.
So I feel like even if you're going to say this is a reboot, I don't know, it still feels rough because again you kept Cage.
No, definitely.
If you didn't keep Cage, I think it'd be okay. And, you know,
yeah,
Nicolas Cage...
Yeah, like, had you brought in someone like, say, Chris Pine, that would have been pretty
cool. What? You've been pushing for Pine.
I want Chris Pine to play Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider so badly. I don't know why.
So you
I just feel like he would be perfect for that role.
So you want to smell the pine?
Oh, God damn.
So you want to smell the Chris? No, not Damon Arnold. We have to work on these things. I'm sorry, I'm not that good with the quips. Quips, Arnold, quips. You're not good with the quips. No. Ghost Rider, Arnold Schwarzenegger, not even fucking...
Oh, my God.
Not even fucking Mr. Freeze. Just Ghost Rider, Arnold Schwarzenegger, living in a house together. You know, one has fiery hot blood and is a demon from hell, and the other one is Ghost Rider. Coming this fall to Fox.
Oh, God.
Because, of course. Because of fucking... Wait, Fox actually owned the rights to this film before they went back to...
No, it was...
To Marvel, right?
No, Sony.
Really? Wow, Sony had a lot.
Yeah, they had all of them, actually, I think, except for...
No, Daredevil was Fox.
Are you sure?
I'm probably wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Fox.
I will look into this.
All right, as you're doing that. We made the Arnold Schwarzenegger Ghost Rider pun joke last episode, so sorry if you didn't watch that because this is a reboot. You see, we fucking rebooted our own goddamn podcast. Anyway, so, yeah, it was weird because when I looked at that recap, I really didn't know, like the animated one. I didn't know. It's like, wait, so did the movie not end the same way? And it's like, well, it didn't because there was no Roxanne at all. So there's no Roxanne. There's no, now it's a burden, apparently. These powers are a burden. And I am happy, though, that Johnny knows how to summon the creature now. If you want to call it a creature, the being, the Ghost Rider. He's able to summon it now, and that's great. Because, yeah. And also, as we talked about a little bit last show, you are a bigger fan of it than I am, but I'm still a big fan of the 2011 Ghost Rider CGI. They understood. You need to put gloves on the hands because they kind of look weird and bony because you're a skull. They made the skull darker to blend in more. I do like the white skull, but I do think that the black blends in better, and I like it. Yeah. Some people were not fans of the CGI.
Yeah, but, like, the whole design of this new Ghost Rider, for this new reboot, or whatever you want to call it, it has to be my favorite design of the character. It's simple, but it looks amazing. And I like the motorcycle just being a standard motorcycle, but looks like it's melting and it's burning alive, or whatever the proper terminology would be. That was one of my highlights of this movie, was that, and just to jump here, I love that they actually included a lot more action in this movie.
Oh, yes, definitely. Before I talk about that, let's also talk about the budget, interestingly enough. So we look at the budget last movie, it's $110 million, and the box office was $228.7 million. Now, this time the budget was actually brought down to $57 million, but the box office was $132.5 billion. So you would think getting them more, would definitely, because it's technically more. Yeah. Ish. Wait, no, it's not. No, it's not more. Damn. No, I'm an idiot. Because I can't do math right. This is why I podcast. No, because the original budget was 110. The box office was 228. 0.7. Why is it always point? Anyway, so in other words, they made in the first one 118. Take away the 7, made 118. In this one, it's 57 budget, and the box office was 132.
Right.
Yeah. See, we can do math are good. So anyway, mind you, it's weird because even though it made a little bit less, still, I don't know, I felt like this was the good one.
I definitely agree.
Now, I will admit, I'm happy the rights are back in Marvel's hands. As I said last show, you may not have known this because we're doing a reboot right now, but, last episode that we talked about Ghost Rider 1, I really would enjoy this becoming a show on, network television, jumping Netflix somehow, Not necessarily becoming a Marvel movie, because they have a lot going on with their cinematic universe right now, and I don't know if they want to. I really wouldn't feel comfortable with them just tacking on another movie. Because they're doing so much. So it's like, just do your thing for Avengers 3. I prefer Ghost Rider to, even though he is supernatural and he has those powers, in a weird way, I think I would prefer for him to be more of a ground level hero. Especially because he does fight crime directly. That's not saying anything wrong about, I don't mean to, say oh, well, Cap and Iron Man but I mean, look at them, Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor. They're not going to stop a mugger.
Yeah.
That's complete overkill. They're stopping super secret Nazi muggers, right? But in no way is it if you see a mugger on the street, he's like, "Give me your purse." I think we might need to call Captain America.
Yeah.
But if it's "Give me your bag, lady," I just feel just call for Ghost Rider. Which, by the way, if you need to know how to call Ghost Rider, as a young person, possibly in danger, just scream out loud, "Satan, Satan, Satan," and he'll come at a moment's notice.
Oh my God! I will say one thing though regarding him in the cinematic universe. If they plan to bring him in at all through a movie as kind of an Easter egg or an after credits thing or whatever,
right?
I would love for it to be in Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Yeah, because
would
there
you like
is
to explain
actually
the relevance?
Yeah, in the comics, there's actually in one of the more recent Johnny Blaze runs, there's this whole thing where the devil's come to Earth, but he was shredded into 666 different forms, and Doctor Strange is aware of this. And he somehow, the devil tricks Ghost Rider into thinking Doctor Strange is one of those forms. So they have this whole giant fight that involves Doctor Strange kind of trying to exorcise Ghost Rider from Johnny Blaze. But
that would be interesting.
Yeah, and it completely backfires. That's why if they bring him in through the cinematic universe, I'd love it to be in Doctor Strange.
That would be done very well, I think. It would be an interesting thing to do. Okay, so one thing that I think was a problem with this movie, and we're going to have a few, of course, because this movie was, again, not perfect. It was just done better than the last one. So I think at this point, Johnny Blaze should be able to talk as the character more, as Ghost Rider. That's funny. You mean Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze? No. I mean, he should really be making full sentences. Ghost Rider or Nicolas Cage? No. Honestly, we love Nicolas Cage. It's horrible. We sound like we hate him. We love Nicolas Cage. I'd love to meet him. Anyway, so I don't know. I feel like Johnny Blaze should not be sitting there as Ghost Rider and saying, "Hungry." You should be in full control at this point. You willed him into existence in this first fight. You should be in full control.
Yeah.
Also, mentioning the scene that everyone knows about, the scraping at the door scene. Yeah, there's a thing, and it's inside me, and it wants to eat and it wants to feed. That. Okay, since I've never seen the movie, seeing it out of context makes it look like Nicolas Cage is doing bad acting. And for anyone to be like, "But Matt," I'm getting to it. Well, I'm not saying this is the best performance ever given by anyone ever. You're trying to play the character as if you're trying to control a raging demon inside you, and also when you use said demon, it is as if a drug. It's as if, you're trying to play essentially a character who uses the Ghost Rider as a drug. Now, I'm not saying that came off extremely well. I'm just saying when you know that it's Nicolas Cage is playing a junkie who has a demon inside him, it makes a bit more sense. Instead of, so Nicolas Cage is Ghost Rider, and he's like, "There's this thing inside me, and it's scraping at the door." Now, mind you, he did kind of sing it, so it was like, what the fuck are you doing? But other than that, it made sense in a sick and twisted way. Rather than just, "Matt, watch this scene," which I've been shown so many times by you and many others. Also, by the way, that transformation scene on the motorcycle was one of the best and worst things I have seen, at least this year or in general in life. Because, all right, it was bad because I do think we can do better in 2011 and on that budget, but something about it was very 80s, and I liked it.
Definitely.
Like, it reminded me of this Japanese short film. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
The 80s one, like the black and white one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an amazing short film. And doesn't it remind you of just, like, the way they do, like, the, not even just transformation stuff, although a little bit, but the way they do, like, the stop motion when, like, you know, he kind of becomes the giant, like, creature thing. It was done so fucking well. So
definitely.
anyone who hasn't seen Tetsuo the Iron Man, it's a Japanese 80s short film, short being an hour long. It's in black and white, and it's done on such a low budget, but it's done so well. I think there was a remake in 2009, I believe, 2007, or even 2011. I'm jumping between all these years. The point is that watch the original. It's done so well, and I love it. I mean, it's basically about a man who has one guy has like an iron, like metal fetishist or something, so he likes putting metal into like his skin, and it's so twisted, and then he gets the other guy as if it's infected. So now the guy just starts sprouting metal and anything metal comes to him as if it's a magnet, but like becomes part of him, and it's such an interesting film. So Tetsuo the Iron Man, look it up. But anyway, yeah, so it kind of reminded me of this a little bit in terms of, like, when he's transforming on the motorcycle. Like, it looks like, oh, we don't have a big budget. But it's okay. Because this movie, having a smaller budget than the original, but being made this way, it's like, how did you guys do that?
Basically, yeah.
You know, I think it was done pretty well.
Yeah.
Also, you know, the scene where he actually starts to fight a lot of people, right? All the bad guys. I fucking loved it because the music and the atmosphere really make it. It's action, but also a horror movie in a way.
Now, when you say this scene, do you mean the very first time he appears?
No, the second one. Like,
with the giant
we're talking about
buzz.
with all the guns and then Ghost Rider spinning in midair.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The spinning that I didn't like, by the way. Him falling out of the sky was cool, but I wasn't a big fan of the spinning. Didn't really get why spinning was needed. But, yeah. And, but no, I think it was such a good scene because it kind of makes you realize, like, yeah, you know, this guy, again, is from hell. Like, he's a demon from hell. It's not just like, you know, hey, you know, how you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. Really? Because I'm feeling kind of hot. I said, he didn't hear me. I said, I'm feeling kind of hot.
No, I heard you the first time. I don't know how to respond.
All right, you've sinned. Look into my fucking eyes. How horrible would it be? The only sin, like, it goes through all the sins, right? And the only sin. Hey, how you doing? You didn't laugh at Ghost Rider's joke. So it plays that scene again, but you still hear women screaming for some reason, and and you're dying in a perpetual hell of just Ghost Rider telling you that joke over and over because it replays your sins. So it just replays Ghost Rider just telling you, hey.
I'm actually glad you brought up the whole look into my eyes thing. Because that is one thing I felt was a downgrade from the first movie.
Oh, because it was done a little bit quicker, or it wasn't done as much, or what?
It was actually the fact that it took forever, and it did not look like... I don't know if it was the way they told the guy to act, or if it was the guy that had the penance stare done to him, like his acting in general, but it didn't really make me feel like he was in serious danger. Like, I understand... Look, he's being held by a dude that's a flaming skull. But he's just kind of looking at him. He's not really screaming or trying to wriggle free. He's just staring at him.
Okay.
And it's also partially because when this movie had come out after New York Comic Con, I had actually been able to go to the Ghost Rider panel for the movie. Right. And I remember the directors there saying, when you see the penance stare, it's crazy. You're going to feel sorry for this guy, even though he killed people. I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And then I'm in the theater, I'm like, this is not what I was promised.
Yeah. Great directors, though. again, being able to make a movie like this on that budget.
Yeah.
You know, a lot smaller than, well, a lot, but, I mean, a decent amount of million, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, okay, so jumping back into, I didn't like the spinning Ghost Rider, but I finally think I found a good Ghost Rider line. I know you weren't a big fan of this line, but I like this line. Sorry, does it hurt? Looks like it does. Why do I like that? Because he asked him, hey, does it look like it hurts, huh?
I have to agree with you. I did like that. For some reason, I liked it in this movie, but I did not in the first one. I don't know why.
No, because I think it was in the first one too. I think it was a lot. Leo was like, "Hey, nice jacket." So it's just redone to the guy. Hey, nice jacket. Like it kind of makes it. It relates to the whole like. I know I just made it as a stupid one-off joke, but all jokes aside, like all jokes aside, talking about my joke. The way it's kind of like your only sin is the fact that you didn't like Ghost Rider's joke. Now I'm sure that guy had some other sins. He was, possibly. I mean, and not everyone in there had sins. There was that one kid that was just kind of innocent, and it was like, that's nice. But everyone else there was not, and it was like, yeah. So, of course they weren't innocent. But the problem is just that, it's kind of like, you make one quip about, like, his fucking jacket, and it's like, now you're dead. In this case, it's like, you all are trying to shoot him and capture a woman and kill her kid, who's technically the son of Satan. So, a lot of fucked up things going on here right now.
Yeah.
I think it's understandable that Ghost Rider is going to be like, hey, go fuck yourself. Right? And then do that. It makes sense. It's cool. I get it. I like it. But yeah, I think it's just, it's really, it's, like, it made sense in this movie, but I didn't want it to be done a lot. And it happened a bit later, where it was like, roadkill. And I was like, fucking shit, no.
Yeah.
I was like, why? We had such good, because you didn't have a lot of Ghost Rider doing that shit in this movie. In fact, I'm not going to say, Goyer, like, made this movie great, because he's just a third name. And I don't say just as in, like, he's like, oh, like, what did he do? He may not have done a lot. I assume maybe if he was, he would be top name if he did a lot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just order of, alphabetical. I don't know. But I don't know, like, how much he gave to... I really don't. I don't know how much he gave to this movie. But he definitely gave more... Like, he wasn't involved in the last movie. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
He came in on this one, and then this is the one that's like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
Why do I like this one? I see that Goyer worked on it. Ah, that's probably why. Hell, even oh, no, before I even get to this, I want to mention, we finally have in this movie the one thing that was lacking, and it was lacking in both movies, arguably, but I think more so in this one, a supernatural villain for Ghost Rider to fight. Yeah. Now, I know some might say, no, but last movie had, Lil Mephisto. It did, all right? But the problem, and it had his goons, which are good, because, again, you need goons to get killed in a superhero movie. You need fodder. You can't just have the one big bad guy, because then you're not going to have a fight for the entire fucking movie, unless you have one with the bad guy where the good guys lose in the beginning, and then the one at the end, and then they win at the end for some reason. We don't know why. And it's like, yay, we did a movie, yay, superheroes. So I'm happy that, in the first one they had goons, even though they were disposed of, again, with haste. So, but in this one we had nothing. We had humans, which is good because, again, and a lot of guilty humans. So a lot of people you can just kill straight up, just bam, completely. I mean, he burned that guy alive. He turned to dust. It was fucking awesome, right? But it was really good for Mephisto to just be like, just have someone that's just like, oh, I'm dying, so haha, I can't help you with jack shit. Oh, inconvenient. Brings him back to life. And also, by the way, not only that guy's power is being decay, having darkness in there as well was fucking amazing. Yeah. Having him be able to, do like a sensory deprivation stuff as well as, involving the whole decay thing was really well done, in my opinion.
Definitely.
So, yes. And he's known as Blackout, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure. Yes, he's known as Blackout. Looks a lot different in this picture that I see of him here. I think you know what I'm talking about. He seems a lot younger. He seems a lot younger in the movie. But and I assume he was portrayed a lot differently.
Much differently, yeah.
Much different. Okay. And then we have Mephisto, of course, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Or Mephistopheles. No, Mephisto. Yeah, Mephistopheles, if you prefer. I prefer Mephisti. I know him well. But yeah, it was an interesting. I think it was interesting the way the movie was done. I and also apparently Idris Elba's character is brand new to the movie.
Yeah.
Again, that's how you make a Ghost Rider.
Basically.
We could have had our first French Ghost Rider. Everyone would have been okay.
Yeah. I honestly, at one point, was expecting him to become Ghost Rider. I really was.
And then it was just like, nah, we good here.
We're
good right here.
Wine, throw the bottle up in the air and shoot some people.
I think that was done well. Okay, so we'll talk about the plan a little bit later, because I thought that the plan was smart at first, and then they were just like, but what plan? And I was like, yeah, you're fucking right. But anyway, talking about, so I want to mention, we have, or I already mentioned, we have our first supernatural villain, which is awesome, because, again, we need that, because the problem is if, like, okay, right, imagine if Kingpin didn't actually fight. Imagine if Kingpin was just, like, old and not dying, but just, like, because, again, Mephisto can't fight. It's just that his character, especially with the actors they've chosen to portray him, is very much like, oh, no, I'm not in the spotlight, right? I lurk in the shadows, and you're gonna fight guys to try and get to me.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that in both movies they got to him, and there was never a fight.
Yeah. And
in the first movie, I understand because okay. I don't understand because again, it's the idea that like, oh, a superhero movie, this has to happen in the sequel. Not always a big fan of that. But again, they put obstacles in front of him, one of them being his own son, so it made sense in the first movie. In this movie, it was just like he was always out of reach until the end when he was in reach, but not really.
Yeah.
So it's as if Kingpin, right? Let's say Kingpin is like the main bad in a movie, right? And so Spider-Man's in the Kingpin movie and everything, even though Kingpin's more Daredevil, but whatever. So, yes, Spider-Man has to fight Kingpin, and, but he doesn't get the Kingpin yet. He has to go through, there should be him going through other people, like Goblin, like Smythe, but he doesn't. He doesn't go through anybody. It's just him searching for Kingpin for 2 fucking hours, or an hour and 20, right? That's the problem a little bit with this movie. And it's not, and again, there were so many good things about this movie compared to the last one. But the big issue is that they finally took the time halfway through the movie to just be like, right, we kind of need to give him someone on his own level. Now, again, cannon fodder is great, but you can't just, you have to give them someone on his level. And for most of the movie, we didn't have anyone. It was like cannon fodder. Eventually, he'll get to Mephisto. Movie's done, right? So finally, it was like, oh, good. We have, this villain who, again, was really fucking cool. I mean, any organic matter completely destroyed, and thank goodness he found a Twinkie.
I love that so much.
That's a good way of injecting humor, where it's just like, all right, we need to make this movie serious. How do we inject humor? Oh, he's going through organic matter, and he can't eat any of it. What can he eat? Cue the Twinkie.
I love how even he's just like, the fucking Twinkie.
Like, oh, good God. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. It was done well. The only thing is, okay, so organic matter. So his hand wouldn't go through guns, right?
I don't
Or did it go through a gun? No,
I don't think it did.
I didn't know if it was, because I didn't know if it was going through Idris Elba's hand or the gun. And the reason why I mention that is because he's easily able to drive a car, which isn't made of organic living matter, but it's still made of matter. And it's also still made of stuff like leather, which is made from, any leather that is made from an animal is technically organic. So I'm like, are you going to slide through that or what? Because he flew through, I thought he flew through the gun, and I was like, wait, but you drove here in a car, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't think he did. Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
I don't.
That's cool. That's fine. I was just wondering. Also, by the way, one thing I'm happy that they had, because, again, humor is fun. But, my God, people had to be paid for this part of the job, and they had to be hired just for this part of the fucking job. So I'm cool with Blaze cracking jokes with the kid and mentioning Ghost Rider peeing. Actually, kind of funny. You can, you can picture that yourself. But I don't want us to have that pictured for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's like someone saying, "Oh yeah, I fucked your mom last night," and it's just like, "Oh God, I don't want to picture that." Actually, I already drew. Like, I actually already had an animation team simulate what would happen if I had sex with your mom. Can we roll the tape, Tom? I don't want to fucking hear about that.
I mean, hell, the peeing thing was in the trailer, so.
Was it really? That is
yeah,
not a good way to get
trailer.
people to go to your movie.
It's amazing because they end the trailer like right before the title comes on with the shot of him spitting out the bullets.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, and then it's a quick cut to him pissing fire. I'm like, is he pissing fire? Is this what I'm looking at?
Yeah, because I will admit the kids' questions were great. Like, what if you sit on this or this or this? Would they? I was like, that's actually a really good question. I think everyone would ask that. Like, I'm cool with that. That felt like a very Goyer line, interestingly enough. I'm fine with it. But, once it's just like, let's animate the pissing fire. I was like, guys, that, like, when you animate pissing fire, you know that about 9 times out of 10, Deadpool is in your animating staff. Like, I feel like everyone who pushed for that idea was just Deadpool.
Pretty much.
Where it's just like, where it's just like, all right, and like someone says normally, oh, and we'll write in that joke about, pissing fire. And literally just Deadpool comes up, just, what if we actually animated that? Who said that? So he comes up again with a mustache. I don't know who said this, but I think it's a good idea. Comes back down. Just another guy comes up with I also think this is a great idea. We should fund this immediately. Flies back down. Another guy comes up with a Stan Lee, just everything. I also think this is a good idea. Deadpool Celsior. Well, literally the writers are like, well, I mean, everyone's for it, so we'll animate that. Like, I'm sorry, but that's how it came off. It's just Deadpool just fucking... Because who the fuck greenlit that? Someone had to greenlight that idea. You understand this, Anthony.
Oh, absolutely. I am honestly thinking the studio was just like, you know what? After the first one, let's just go for it. You know what sucks, too? I assume it's because it's 2011. They're sitting back like, this is what the kids want, I guess, right? You just look at all the writers, you're like, yes.
I wonder if that was more on the studio. Like, how about we do this? I mean, the Marvel movies are so fun, right? Sure.
Yeah, but they don't.
Because at that point,
it's like they don't show Thor pissing electricity. But sure, why not?
They should. We've already helped them greenlight an idea for Thor Ragnarok. He's just really, really mad, and he's just pissing electricity as well. Oh, God, no. The reason why he's mad is because he's screaming angrily in the rain. It's like Thor Ragnarok. And he's pissing electricity, but because it's rain, it's also electrifying him at the same time.
Oh, my God.
So is he mad because his world is burning around him, or because his electric piss is currently killing him? Find out next time on Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, Jesus.
Or the parody. The porn parody. Thor Ragnarok.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I wonder if the porn parody for Ghost Rider would actually have better effects than Ghost Rider. CGI-wise?
I mean, nowadays, yeah.
There were some costumes that were just like, oh, this is like, I saw a really cool Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman costume, and I was like, these are amazing. And then someone told me where they were from, and I was so fucking pissed. I was like, no, they're fucking not.
I remember the same thing with like Iron Man and Black Widow, actually. I'm like,
oh my
is this
God.
a fan-made movie?
Iron Man?
Yes.
Iron Man, really? That's horrible. No, I think the funny thing to me is just like, again, like just like they can't be from. It's like, no, they're fucking not from there. Funny enough, you say the word fucking, man. No, no. Oh God. Anyway, let's transition to something less painful than this conversation. Nicolas Cage. So, yeah, Nicolas. I don't know why. Okay, so bonding with the kid, sweet. I don't know why they thought it was like, that it wouldn't be, because it is sweet, but also completely fucking dangerous to have Blaze bond with the kid on a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
It was not needed at all. They could have cut that motorcycle scene out.
I just love looking at it from this perspective. I'm currently watching a movie that involves Ghost Rider riding on a bicycle with Satan's child, teaching him about life.
It's like those Deadpool, when Fox released those pictures of the new Deadpool movie, but twisting it around to look like it's like a romance, like it's a romantic film. You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like he has cancer, and she's with him for how long he has left to live. Ryan Reynolds, and it was like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
It's literally like me thinking they could have just put a poster of him with the kid on the motorcycle, Ghost Rider, and then the people are like, oh no, one of them must be dead. And he's riding with his son or father.
Oh my God, it's like Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, oh my God, that'd be horrible. It's the same. They're literally working the same thing, making a vase and everything, but it's just on fire. Oh my God, just. But I'm paused here because I'm like, I hate myself because all I heard is just like he's talking to Nadia, just, hey, you don't have, like they made love. It's like, you don't have herpes, do you? No, why? Oh, because the crotch is on fire. She's furious. She's like, I don't think she got it. What I said was. Idris is just like, no, she got it.
He's not even in the house. He just pops through the window. She got it.
We all did. Anyway, so getting back to the actual movie, I hate where my mind went. Like, that's why everyone's like, why did he pause? Like, that's fucking why. I have a question for you. This is actually a serious question. No joke, serious. Being completely honest. Them explaining Ghost Rider, the idea of an angel coming to Earth and being corrupted, is that how it actually happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's legit. That's 100% legit. Because, again, I've read other... So then, question. So technically then, another Ghost Rider character, I don't want to spoil any runs for anybody, being possessed by a Ghost Rider who... it's technically, not necessarily a Ghost Rider, but is another being. You can technically refer to them as a Ghost Rider in terms of, you're being possessed by something else that isn't your own.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm... Okay. No, because I'm curious because, I'm curious in the sense that, I thought Ghost Rider is not necessarily... Okay, it's a power bestowed upon you, but I didn't think it was another hellish being that's in there with you, like you're a symbiote. Or you're fucking, the new version of... God, what was its name? In New 52 DC. Where they combined. Yeah.
Fuck.
Essentially Kamen Rider Double. What?
Firestorm?
Yes, Firestorm, thank you. I didn't realize it was a Firestorm situation. I thought it was more of oh no, I'm just bringing out your inner desires, or I'm just putting you on a spree to kill people for justice. I didn't realize that, Johnny Blaze was actually going around with a spirit of, an actual spirit of vengeance that is completely different from another Ghost Rider. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In other words, if two Ghost Riders are fighting, it's technically two angels fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it gets very interesting, because in the comics, the way it originally was, is the only Ghost Rider was Zarathos. He was the only Ghost Rider. Zarathos, the angel that went crazy.
Okay.
But then it kind of just became because the whole thing it went is Johnny Blaze was Zarathos Ghost Rider, right? But Danny Ketch, his Ghost Rider, was as the result of a family curse.
Oh, that's the one you were telling me about in depth about a good year or two ago. You were telling me all about Danny Ketch.
Yeah, he's my personal
I remember
favorite.
him now. I forgot about him until you were just like, oh, family curse. And I'm like, right, I remember you at a Wendy's. And we're not trying to promote Wendy's. It was just us at a Wendy's. Just you sitting there going, I'm going to tell you about Danny Ketch, man. And I was like, are you okay? You were like, there's this thing that loves Danny Ketch inside me. And I just really love his miniseries, man. Have you seen Marvel Knights? Because Danny Ketch is in Marvel Knights, man. Was he in Marvel Knights? He was, wasn't he?
I don't believe so.
Oh, so was it Johnny Blaze in Marvel Knights? I know Ghost Rider was in it, and you enjoyed it.
Yeah, Ghost Rider Hammer Lane. It was Johnny Ketch. Johnny Blaze.
Okay. It was Johnny Ketch.
It was Danny Blaze. No, it was Danny Ketch.
But anyway, so, by the way, so, like, the vision with Blaze becoming Ghost Rider with the white backdrop, that was fucking metal.
Yeah.
That was so fucking metal. So we're going to skip down a little bit in my notes here. I just love it. I want to read them verbatim, just not even giving a crap. Just, oh, snap, they were betrayed. They want to kill the boy. Never mind, Decay Man is here. Saving the day, in a sense. That's his name, Decay Man. Ba-ba-da-ba, Decay Man. Saving you and also killing you. Actually, you're dead. Da-ba-da-ba. Also known as Blackout. But anyway, so, yeah, talking about, because I think we should really talk about the plan before we head off. The plan of just a really good plan. I think I was like, what are they going to do here? Just, get soldiers, off guard. Then to shoot those guys wearing, the guys in this demonic church thing, because it's like they don't have guns. So this is smart. Then Blaze is just, I'm going to punch that guy. Good. And I was like, now, of course he couldn't move after, right? He couldn't move because it was just like, he was stopped by the kid. But it was just like, I'm going to punch him, and then I'll stand here. And then he couldn't move. But there was a point in there where it's like, he could have grabbed the kid and then punched him. He could have done so much, but that was the goal. I'm going to punch that guy.
Yeah.
I punched him. I'm Johnny Blaze. I mean, I will admit, I like that the kid realized, wait, I have the power to make a Ghost Rider, and then boom, he was a Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
That was nice. Also, car chase, nice too. Ghost Rider victory pose, not nice. Why make me like you less, movie? Why?
I did, though, love the scene where he sent the devil back to hell, though.
Yes, that was cool. Just the whole brah after was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I did just love the whole.
Who are you people?
Yeah, like but I love the whole slow-mo in midair. It's just like, go home. And the fucking shot of just the continuous chain. I'm like, oh my God.
Yes, that was done well. I liked that. So overall, not as bad as we heard.
Exactly.
Thankfully. Yeah. So, we're going to end the show right now. I want to thank you all for listening in, as always. Before we run, I just want to be very quick and brief about this. I just want to say, we have ourselves merchandise. You can go find it on cafepress.com/TGOTR merchandise. You can also go on our YouTube channel to see, you can see our show, Those Guys Play Season 1 and Those Guys Play Season 2 should be happening right now. Anthony and I have been playing Marvel games as well as playing Star Wars Battlefront, where you're teaching me the way of, not of the Force, teaching me the way of the Empire, the evil Empire. It's very interesting and intriguing, and you can find us, again, on YouTube by searching up TGOTR or Those Guys on the Radio. You can also, again, find our merchandise relating to that on Cafe Press, where we release Those Guys Play, with some Star Wars-y type font. And we're going to be releasing, or have already released, Matt Beats Games from His Childhood merchandise, which is another show that we're doing on YouTube as well. Again, search up Those Guys Play or TGP to find us, to find our Let's Play stuff. Because, Matt, me, beats games of his childhood. Pretty normal, pretty legit. Right now I'm doing Mega Man, beating Mega Man X and probably some more games depending on when you're watching this. So again, tune in and it'll be real fun. You can also find us on YouTube by searching up Those Guys on the Radio to find our podcast stuff. And our social media, of course, as I said last episode that we did for Ghost Rider, is the website, thoseguysontheradio.tumblr.com, Facebook /thoseguysradio, Instagram /thoseguysontheradio, and Twitter @thoseguysradio. Lot of social media. A lot of stuff going on there. And our Gmail, thoseguysontheradio@gmail.com, where you can email us if you want us to promote you on our show, or if you want to send us show ideas, because you can totally take any suggestions from you. You know, we'd love to hear suggestions. They'll be great. So, so we kind of ended this abruptly, but you know what? I mean, it happens sometimes, just the way a movie will end abruptly. There's no actual conclusion, really, because it's not like Mephisto's dead. He was already, he fell. So sorry. It's not like you can't come back from hell. He was originally from fucking hell. But whatever. At least there won't be a third Ghost Rider for us to see. And if we do, Nick Cage won't be involved, so that's great, too. So all in all, better than this first one, but it also is kind of meaningless in the end. In a way, it reflects life, and, you know, art imitates life. So we'd like to thank you all. And anything you want to say before we end the show, Anthony?
I think that was a wonderful note to end on, so no.
Okay. So good night, everybody. Say good night,
Have a good one. Have a good one, everybody.
All right. Good night.